When I first started my online fitness coaching business, my initial goal was just to make $10,000 a month. I heard everyone online, oh my God, you gotta make $10,000 a month. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make $10,000 a month. So that was my initial goal. What I did is I went out and started charging $1,000, okay? And that was extremely difficult. It took me over a year and a half of hard work to actually hit my first $10,000 month, charging $1,000. Think about it. I pretty much had to have signed 10 clients that month, okay? Flash forward now I have clients who have paid me over $25,000, $30,000 over the course of their lifetime from one single client, okay? So right now I hear so many people, so many coaches, everyone talking about, oh my God, you gotta just get more sales, you gotta get more appointments, you gotta do all of this selling, right? But why do you have to sell? What is the point of selling if you can just make more from less clients? Okay, so that's what I'm gonna be talking about today. And what I'm gonna be talking about is how to actually go about that process, because you can't just go and just say, oh, now my program is this much money, or now I'm charging this much, because you're gonna get absolutely destroyed. Okay, so what I'm gonna show you is kind of how I was able to transition from trying to sign 10 clients a month to make 10K, okay, to having one or two clients, for example, that make me 10K, and having multiple of those to make $50,000 a month, okay? So stick with me here. If you're watching alongside me, this is gonna be a longer form video. Take your fucking phone, put it in the other room. Don't be TikTok brain. Listen in, it's gonna be a good one. Let's jump into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so in today's video, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pretty much run you through why playing these pointless battles of trying to get more sales, of playing these battles of, oh, I just need to send more cold DMs. Oh, I need to post more. I just got to get more sales. I got to get more sales, is actually what's killing your business. Because more appointments, more Zoom calls, more sales appointments, these are not activities that are directly going to generate you more income. Okay. In the short term, it may feel like that, but it is actually what could potentially be holding you back from reaching 50 to 100K a month. Okay. If you want to hit 10K a month, sure, go ahead. Grind, volume, that will get you there. Okay. But if you actually want to get past that, what got you there is not going to get you past that. Okay. So there is something hidden in fitness, in the fitness coaching space, that many people do not talk about, and it's called lifetime value. Okay. So a lot of coaches, a lot of people out there will stress the importance of, like, oh my God, you got to do this sales tactic. Okay. Oh my God, this is what you say on a sales call. Like Wes Watson, all these fucking coaches. I don't even want to go and list all these people, but it's very sales focused, because sales is what sells. Okay. When you talk about the activity that's closest to the money, that sells. Okay. So if you're watching this with me here and you're like, talk about sales, just click off this video. Just honestly, just click off this video. This video is not for you. This video is for people who are actually thinking on a higher level of thinking. Okay. So something called LTV. What is LTV? It is lifetime value. So pretty much you can get 100 sales at $500 LTV per customer, or have 2 sales at 25K LTV. Which one of these is easier? Okay. Which is easier, getting 100 sales at 500 or 2 at 25 LTV? Okay. Because I've had clients, I still have clients that are paying me 30, 40K LTV. Okay. That is much easier to handle than trying to get 100 new sales that month. Okay. And I hear so many fitness coaches, fitness businesses charging 1 to 2K or $500 a month. And they come to me and they say, oh, Ashton, I've seen your videos. I want to charge $5,000 for a program. And I tell them that if they do that, they will get crushed. Okay. Because you can't just increase prices and think that that's going to correlate. Okay. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to actually make a leveraged offer in backend that can handle high paying clients, that can stay and give you more over the course of time. Not by charging $500 a month or charging some recurring bullshit where people churn. We're not doing that. Okay. Number 2, how you can most importantly justify the value, because most coaches cannot justify the value. They just see people online telling them they need to charge high ticket, like Alex Hormozy, like these people. Oh, everyone's saying to charge high ticket. I'm just going to charge high ticket. And they immediately think, oh, I'm just going to make a high ticket offer and just charge high ticket. You're going to get crushed. Okay. And 3, how to do this in a leveraged way to support multiple 6 figures worth of clients per month and not be running around trying to get new clients all the time, because actually getting sales is a low leverage activity when you could be spending your time doing more leverage activities. Okay, you're going to see how this makes sense later on in this presentation. Okay, so a little bit about me, how I kind of got into this space, and how I actually got to the point of actually making 50K. Okay, 50K per month. So initially, I was pretty much in medical school studying to become a doctor. Okay, so this is some of the photos of medical school. This was like the university town that I was in. It was called London. It was in London, Ontario, Western University. Horrible university. Horrible university. Like a great university on paper, awesome, but it was just like, it's university. All right, you're not really learning much, etc. I was super broke. I was eating liver and butter for dinner. Like liver was like $5. Super, super cheap. It's like $5. I go get like a massive pack of liver for $5, and I would just eat that because it was super cheap. And it was kind of, I didn't want to spend a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money, etc. Okay. And around this time, I was, quite depressed. I was broke. And I even felt like I was just going to end up the same as everyone else. Everyone in school hated what they did, but they were just sacrificing their youth and their 20s to work for the government, because in Canada, it's Ontario health plans. So it's like a socialist system where it's government. It's not like privatized health, to make 200 to 300K a year. And I didn't want that. Like just to go to school for 12, 13 years to make 200K a year. I think I'm okay. Okay. So because of my utter sadness, I decided to start a business. I was in school. I needed to start a business. I needed a challenge. So I decided to start a fitness coaching business because of my past with training and working out. So this was before college, but I went from like a pretty small and fragile 150. Like this is me up here, 150 when I first started lifting. And I shot up to this, which is about 180 in about 2 months. Just bulked. I was eating like fucking smoothies with the oats and the honey and the peanut butter, all that horrible things for you. And then I pretty much bulked up to about 220. And then I cut down to about 180. And I did a few shows. So this is about me around 180, 185 pounds on the right here. Fully natural. I've never taken gear in my life. Funny story. I've actually taken I remember, so there's this drug. It's called MK677. I don't know why I'm revealing this, but MK677, this thing right here. It's a growth hormone secretagogue. I actually took one pill of this because my friend was like, oh, we should do that. I took one pill. It's not a hormone. Okay, I took this once and felt horrible and never took it again. So that was the only thing I did. Other than that, fully natural. I took it once, like one pill, one time. That's it. But I'm 100% natural. Okay. So I did that. Pretty much built my physique, and then I was like, okay, I built my physique. I got to start a coaching business. So I scaled my TikTok to a few thousand. Had a few videos blow up. Had a few million views overall. Here's my TikTok. Had a few videos that pretty much blew up, 1.7 mil, 287K, 102, etc. Okay. And my original thesis with my coaching business was just to post one time a day on TikTok, and then eventually I'll make money from it. Okay. I literally forced myself to post. I continually posted and tried to get some sort of audience that would pay me money on behalf of like programming or something like that. And I really had zero idea what I was doing. Okay. But I just continually posted, especially when I didn't feel like it, because I knew if I had the discipline with the gym that it would directly translate into business. And I was dead wrong. Okay. I vividly remember sitting at my desk going through my phone. This was in college at the time. Okay. I was checking how many videos I posted and looked at some of the ones that went viral. I felt good in the moment. I was like, wow, I'm so cool. I've had some posts that blew up. I feel so amazing. And then I was like, I asked myself, I'm like, how much have I made from this in the past 6 months? And I realized that like, holy shit, like I've made $0 from just fucking posting all day. Like, is this actually a revenue generating activity? What am I doing, etc. Okay. So then I started to invest in courses. I was like, okay, I just don't know enough. I have to invest. So I have to learn. So I can either learn it myself or I can invest in mentorships, courses, etc. So in the matter of 3 months, I invested over 10K into courses with money I did not have. And because of my concentration on my business, I was skipping classes and my grades were suffering. I was barely getting 50 to 60% averages in comparison to the previous year where I had a 90%, 95% average. It was like a crazy drop. I would go to class and I'd be working on my business. There was no point in going to class because I was honestly so consumed with learning business and how to get sales, how to do marketing, how to do all this stuff. This is a photo of a lab that I was in And I remember in this lab, I was watching a fucking Sam Ovens course, okay, in this lab. The teacher got mad at me. What are you doing? I'm like, oh, sorry. Okay. And then, so pretty much after taking courses and buying some stuff online, I started to do cold outreach. I did 1 hour a day of cold outreach. I learned sales, learned some marketing. After 6 months or so, I signed my first client. 6 months, got $3K. Crazy. It took me forever to sign my first client. I don't know why. I was just fucking around for way too long, doing so much bullshit that I see so many other coaches doing, and they're not actually focused on the real things that actually generate revenue. That I kind of pretty much am going to go through in this video. Okay. After this win, I literally stopped working for like 2 weeks and I was in like a celebration mode. I went out with my girlfriend to dinners. I bought a new laptop. I went on a trip to Mexico. This was me in Mexico on the right here, flexing the quads. Cool. Literally spent all the money I made in 2 weeks, and it's kind of dumb, but whatever. Okay. So I signed my first client in February that year. The same year in May, so February, March, April, May, I hit my first ever 7K month. Okay. My school ended in May of that year for the summer break, and I told myself with these 4 months, I will see how much money I make and then decide if I want to return to school in the fall. So I was like, okay, I have the summer. I'm gonna see how much money I can make in the summer. If I can hypothetically make, let's say, 10K a month, or let's see how much I make. I may be able to make 10K a month. Then maybe I can see about dropping out. So in August, literally a month before I was supposed to return to school, I had a 17K month. Okay. So I ended up buying a Rolex. So this is I'm actually wearing it right now. Explorer 2, bought a Rolex, and then I, processed about 10K through Stripe and 7K through PayPal and e-transfer, which is pretty much kind of like, Zelle. You can say it's kind of like Zelle for Canada people. So yeah, all in all, so I did that, and then I was still living in my hometown because my lease did not expire. This is London, Ontario. It's a shithole. That was my house. And for the entire year, I put my head down, religiously worked, researched. I kept refining my process, and eventually discovered this process that I'm about to share with you. Then I kind of went on to pretty much making 50K in 30 days. A lot of my smart work, not hard work, paid off, and I was effortlessly able to shoot up in revenue. Okay. So all in all, I hated what I was doing, felt like it wasn't for me. I had less than $5,000 to my name. I started a fitness page and started posting religiously. I was able to obviously scale that up and make more money coaching. But I started to, the biggest insight that I got was I started to realize that sales were important, but I actually had to build something meaningful and extract as much value as I could per customer rather than trying to just sell all day. Okay. This is probably one of the most important points that I'm going to make in this presentation. But I had a specific instance where I was selling for literally 6 hours a day, just making dials. And there was this one gym owner I was actually talking with. Okay, I got on a Zoom call with him. I pitched him, and he told me on the Zoom call, and this stuck with me for some reason. This big bearded, redhead-looking guy, looked like straight from Duck Dynasty. He said, "I'm worried that all you're doing is just trying to sell and not build a good system and process, which could be refined constantly." He's like, "Why are you just selling all day? Why are you so just focused on selling?" Okay. I'm worried that you're just not focusing on the back end as much. And that really stuck with me. Okay. And all in all, once I actually applied all these learnings and these insights that I got, I've been able to scale up. This is some photos of kind of what I've been doing right now, etc. So that's a little bit about my story. Just briefly kind of going over it and whatnot. Okay. So now that you know a little bit about me, I'm going to tell you why in today's online coaching space, you will most likely get crushed by the competition if you don't have a high LTV and a low churn. Okay. So I hope this kind of all made sense. Just going through my story and why it is extremely important to think about the back end and LTV and extracting as much value per customer. Okay. Because Peter Thiel says this, the founder of PayPal. A business becomes a business pretty much. A business makes profit by taking a percentage of the value that it generates. Okay. So if you can increase that percentage of value that you generate to as much as you possibly can per customer, okay, and you can now worry less about just getting sales. Okay, cool. So sales isn't as leveraged as you think. So everyone, like, so many people in the coaching space, everyone's like, oh, sales is the lifeblood of an organization. They say the accounting department, this is the biggest thing I hear, even, people I know personally say this. the accounting department can stop running and that could not affect the business, but if the sales stop, the entire business shuts down. Okay, this is common consensus. Everyone, especially in the coaching and sales industry, is hyper-focused on sales. Everyone agrees with this. I even agree with this to a sense. Okay, but what I agree with even more, okay, what is even more of an objective truth is the bottleneck is the barrier to entry in the online coaching space is extremely low. So the bottleneck is the barrier to entry is low. Okay? So let me rephrase this. Because the barrier to entry in the online coaching space is so low, it acts as a bottleneck. Okay? So, for example, if you wanted to start an online coaching business, you can run ads. You can make a good offer. You can post on TikTok. You can send cold DMs and book calls. Anyone can do these activities. These are not hard activities. You know how easy it is to run an ad now? You could literally go on Instagram and press boost. It's one click. Connect your credit card, boom. I know like people who are 60, 70 years old who figured out how to run ads. Anyone can make a good offer. You could just read Alex Hormozi's book or watch one of his YouTube videos. Anyone knows like posting on TikTok. Anyone can send a DM. Okay? Booking calls is not that difficult. Most people can figure out how to get people on sales calls to say yes. These are not very difficult activities. Therefore, the barrier to entry in the online coaching space is extremely low, especially within fitness. There's so many people coming into the online fitness coaching space every single day. Okay? So for example, let's say you wanted to start a fitness business. You are struggling with deciding if you should start an in-person gym. Okay, so like a box gym or a micro gym or an online coaching business. Okay, you're like, oh, which one should I start? For example, this is just going to prove my point a little bit even more. Okay, when you start a gym, there's a high capital investment off of the jump. You have to pay for equipment. You got to pay for rent. You got to pay for insurance, licensing and permits, business permits in the jurisdiction you're running your business in. You got to do you have employees? And then you run ads, and then you begin selling. So a lot of people will not go through this process because it is a high barrier or higher barrier to entry. When you're in the online business space, you simply start a page or a TikTok or whatever, you make an offer, and then you could literally run ads off of the jump. Okay? So there's so many people who can easily replicate this. That's why it's become hyper competitive, and that's why you have to find other ways to compete in this market. Okay? And what most people in the online coaching space are attempting to do is outsell everyone. This is a horrible mentality. And even so many influencers talk about this because it relates to the gym. Oh, this person's working out 1 day a week. I'm going to work out 2 days a week. Oh, they're doing an hour a day of cardio. I'm going to do 2 hours a day. I'm just going to outwork them. Okay? And in pertaining to business, they say, if they send 100 cold DMs per day, I will send 500. If they post 1x per day, I will post 5 times per day, etc. Okay? And this cycle of trying to outsell everyone is a game where you were just running extremely fast, yet staying in the same position month after month. Okay? Because if you are selling and hyper-focusing on doing outreach or making ads or generating sales calls, yet you're acquiring clients for X amount of work or X amount of money per client, like if you're spending $200 on ads to get one client, or $500 on ads, or $600 on ads to get one client, or you're spending several hours of work to generate one client, and your clients are churning month after month, where literally all of your work leads to zero output, and your client's LTV is less than 10K, it isn't more sales that are going to help you get ahead. It is simply fixing those leaks in the bucket, then going back to sales. Okay? So this mentality of just trying to sell more is toxic. Okay? And I've fallen into this so many times because I used to be in the cold calling space. When I was, in the online coaching space, I was like, okay, I'm just going to out compete people with content. I'm going to send more cold DMs. I'm going to post more. Okay. And then when I went to gyms and I started working with in-person businesses, I was like, I'm just going to do more cold calls. I'm going to hire a cold calling team. I'm going to get 5 people doing cold calls for me. Okay. And I got a ton of appointments from that. Okay. But now, for some reason, some miracle reason, I don't take a lot of meetings. I barely take any meetings. Okay. But I'm making 5 times more than I made before. How is that possible? I had days where when I was taking 12 meetings a day consistently, Monday through Friday, and I was making 10K a month. What am I going to take 20 meetings a day? Okay. So overall, you have to be a builder, not a seller. Okay. Because the seller is a hustler. The builder is the strategic king sitting on top of the throne, making the building decisions. Okay. So this is just kind of an anecdote to why you need to build over sell. So Pavel Durov, he's I think Russian. He's the founder of Telegram, and he was asked how much time and allocation was focused on selling. He said on a podcast that most apps focus on, running ad campaigns, organic content, like having creators make content, spending money on traffic, all that stuff. And he said that with Telegram, which is like they've had over 1 billion downloads right now. If you don't know what Telegram is, go look it up. He said that he has put $0 into sales and marketing because he knew if he built a system that was so profound in a great market, he would achieve success over time. Let me just highlight this. Over time, okay? The only bottleneck in this equation is time, because ads can accelerate the motion of having a bad system and validate or disvalidate your process. But if there's a rock solid system over time, it will beat marketing and sales. Okay? So if your system is good enough, which I'm going to get into on actually how to build a back-end system that is good enough, it will destroy your marketing and sales. It will just crush it. You won't have to worry, what offer do I use? How do I position a grand slam offer? What do I say on sales calls? This stuff doesn't matter when your system is rock solid. Okay? So David Ogilvy, who's one of the founders of marketing, also stated, whoever can acquire a client for the cheapest will win. Remember what cheapest means. There are 2 forms of work. There is time that you can put into something, and there is money you can put into something. If you're spending 2 hours of outreach on average to acquire 1 client, for example, you're spending 2 hours DMing a person or DMing people to get 1 client on average, you will get beaten by the person who could spend 1 hour. If you're spending $200 to acquire 1 client, you will get beaten by the person who could spend $100. Okay? But the maximum leverage occurs when you acquire a client for free with an extremely high lifetime value. No marketing system will be able to do this. It will only be an actual revolutionary system that will be able to outperform marketing as a whole, that can acquire clients for $0 and also have a high lifetime value per customer. When you're acquiring clients for $0 for free with a high lifetime value, you have now beaten the game of marketing and sales because your system is so profound and so good. Okay? So how do you outperform marketing and sales? Here are some of the kind of steps of outperforming marketing and sales. So Jeff Bezos in the book Letters to Shareholders reveals that the entirety of his time was spent on building and not distributing. Do you think Jeff Bezos, was doing cold calls or running ads saying, hey, you gotta try Amazon? No. He was focused on making the right connections. He was focused on the software on the back end. He was focused on shipping times. Okay? He was focused on so many other things, building his company rather than just trying to distribute. Okay? What if he spent all his time selling? I'm sure Amazon would not be what it is today. Okay? There's actually this insight that I heard about Jeff Bezos in the book. And what he said that he pretty much was able to, I believe he was able to get, I think he was able to get about 100 million or something back from some of the clients that he was like in revenue. And for the longest time, he was at a net zero because he was still trying to build the shipping times. Okay. So he was able to take like massive profits really early on, but he put it all back into shipping times and building Amazon Prime, which is, multiple $1 billion, like making $1 billion a day sort of thing. Okay. So if you want a high lifetime value and not be selling constantly, it starts with the quality of your service and product. Okay. Because marketing and sales can only give you so much leverage. I talk about marketing and sales leverage all the time. Short term, that may work, but long term, your product and service is what is going to actually build that. Okay. Because what's the point of getting 100 new customers at $500 when you can just extract more value with 2 customers each with a lifetime value of $25,000? Okay, you'll have less complexity. You will have less overhead because there's less volume, less employees, less software needed. Okay, you'll have better client results because there's more specialty, there's less generalization, there's closer touch points with the clients. Okay, for example, Amazon Prime, the average Prime subscriber has an LTV of $2,300. Okay, do you think that's just random? How he just he started Amazon Prime and our lifetime value is $2,300? No, that is a clear, calculated plan based on their product and service and their back end, because the back end truly makes the front end. Okay, so how do most online health and fitness coaches struggle in today's market? So pretty much most of the people doing all of this are struggling. All the fitness coaches, all these health coaches, people online are struggling with a low LTV. So maybe your LTV is, I want to say realistically, between like 3 to 4K, maybe on average. I won't even say 2 to 4K maximum. High churn, you're looking at a 20% churn average. Bad client results, 90% failure rate is pretty average. 90% failure rate. High investment time to generate sales. So let's say on average you're going to be spending around 300 to 500 per client. Okay, or you're going to be spending around, let's say, 3 to 6 hours outreach, which is a high time investment and low leverage. Okay, it's an overall low leverage system. And when I was a fitness coach, I was doing all this as well. I was, sending cold DMs. I was mass posting. I was running ads. I was taking sales calls forever. It's 12 hours a day at work, even 12 to, sometimes 16 hours a day at work. Okay. And what most people are doing is selling a level of judgment with light assets. Okay. So what I'm going to get into now is actually how to structure to make a winning backend product and service. Okay. So most people are selling a level of judgment with light assets. So they'll say, I'll give you a meal plan and a coaching plan, or a meal plan and a diet plan, or a meal plan and a fucking meal plan, supplement, and workout plan, whatever. Okay. And then I'll coach you through the process. So this is the judgment coaching. And then I will give you the meal plan, which is the asset. Okay. They're mostly selling the judgment. Okay. Which is the actual coaching side of things. Okay. So the old way is meal plan, workout plan, and then judgment, which is like, texting you, accountability. I don't know why I'm on caps lock here. Accountability. It is check-ins. It is, recommendations, all that sort of stuff. Okay. With a high churn, okay, you make more money and pay for the work from the monthly recurring. Okay, so for example, a lot of coaches will not make money on the front end, and then they'll actually have to make money on the back end with the recurring. Okay, with a low LTV, with prices are low. Okay, when your prices are low, your emotional investment, the client's emotional investment is low. That means that you're just not getting committed clients. Okay, so the old way of selling judgment with light assets is also very easily replicable. Okay, anyone can put together macros, a basic workout plan. A large portion of what they are selling is not tangible. It is judgment, which cannot be calculated for, and it is harder to calculate for. Okay, anyone, think about it. Think about how easy it is. Anyone can put together a meal plan and a diet plan. You know how easy it is? Even Trainerize, all these softwares can just put together a meal plan and diet plan. It is so replicable. Anyone can do it. The barrier to entry is so low for this. Okay? And the thing is, in business is a constant game of competition, and the people that are doing this over time will get crushed by people who are adapting. It is not the strongest and fastest that can survive. It is the most adaptable. Okay? Because selling light assets, with judgment, whatever that means, and basic things that can be replicable is just, over time you're going to get crushed. Okay. The barrier of entry into the market right now is so low. The bar is so low. Anyone can do these things and sell an offer. When everyone is selling X and you come in and sell X, over time the market will select for you and your business will die. Same thing as this photo right here. This is just natural selection. If the hawk can only see the black mice, the hawk, which is the market selection machine, is going to select to take out the black mice, and over time, it is going to be the white mice that survive. Okay, now you have a full population of white mice. Okay, so over time, what we're seeing is we're going to be seeing several coaches. Let's say the coaches are the black mice that are doing it the old way, selling judgment with light assets. They're going to be the ones that are crushed. Okay, so the new way, instead of selling a high judgment based service, you instead are focusing on productizing. You are now selling a service that is asset heavy. Let me highlight this. Asset heavy. Okay. Where you're going to charge high ticket, you're going to get 90% of profits are, after the cost of acquiring a client. You're going to get 95% of clients to stick through and pay the whole term. No churn, as you are not selling a service or outcome. You are selling an asset. Okay. And you're still doing the same sales processes as before, but increasing your LTV per client and still making more revenue and profit through switching to asset-based coaching. You don't rent the house, okay? You buy the house. This is what you're doing. You are not saying, hey, people, do you want to rent this house? No. You are allowing people to buy the actual assets that can help them achieve their goals. You are selling the mechanism. You are not selling, oh, judgment, oh, here's, we're going to do check-ins together, we're going to be on a call together. No. You're not going to coach them. You're going to give them the assets and everything they need so that they can do it themselves. Okay? Sure, there can still be a level of judgment, but it's going to be a lot less judgment and more asset reliant. Okay? And over time, just look at the housing market. When people rent a house, most people rent a house and say to themselves, okay, over time, I'm going to buy that house. Okay? Same thing happens with this. People don't want to rent your system forever. People over time will want the system and not just rent the system from you forever. Okay? Cool. So now we're going to look at pretty much a lesson. This is kind of like why this works, why you need to switch to asset-based coaching from McKinsey Consulting, which is a $1 billion consulting corporation. Okay? So traditionally, McKinsey was primarily selling 3 to 4 month engagements. They come into your business, solve your problems, then they leave until you have a new problem. Okay? This represented 80 to 90% of their business revenue. Today, it only represents 20 to 30. Okay? In 2007 and 2008, McKinsey came up with McKinsey Solutions. And the idea overall, what they were trying to do was to shift from advice and judgment, so kind of, and soft deliverables, kind of like probably what you're doing right now as an online coach, and move to asset-based consulting. Okay? Where consulting, which is the advice and judgment, and pairing it with hard assets through, McKinsey Solutions software. This model represents 70% of their business today. Okay, so overall, why did they do this? With the speed at which technology is improving, they realized that relying on people's expertise would be a risk for their business. Okay, what about, like, let's say they hire, an intern or people to do things, and those people don't have a high expertise. Okay, now you have to go to people who do have expertise. That becomes a bottleneck. Okay, what if you're relying on a few key players to give certain expertise? That also becomes a bottleneck. How do you get those people who are, high expertise people within your organization to now teach the other people who don't have a high expertise? Okay, now that becomes an educational bottleneck. Okay, so therefore they looked at macro shifts and looked at who is helping their clients better and through cheaper solutions. And they used technology and leverage technology. Okay, so why would a company pay you millions of dollars to do something that a system can do for 100 times cheaper? Okay, instead of fearing technology, they embraced it and have acquired 30 assets that they leverage when helping businesses. Okay, so the new model pretty much looks like this. Okay, you acquire a client, you share new methodology in infrastructure, which is, placing talent, software, etc., systems, certain things for people to do. Compared to, more in the online coaching space, you would give them hard assets for them and mechanisms for them to actually reach their goals. Okay. And then you retain on leverage service, which is you consult them through the assets. Okay. So McKinsey pretty much solved this. In the case of McKinsey, they scaled this model to $10 billion per year. So I don't want anyone doubting if it's scalable or not, because they were able to pretty much take people from a current situation, businesses. This is more B2B, of course, of people from current situation to a new desired situation by leveraging this. Okay, so how do we actually create assets now centered around these gaps? Okay, because when I talk about McKinsey, for example, how do you actually create these assets? What is the process of creating these assets? Okay, so most founders within the coaching space have only really mastered one skill set, but in order to bridge the entire gap of delivering a client from their current situation to their desired situation, there are several gaps that you have to fix. Okay, there are insights, there's infrastructure, there's more data, there's more insights, there's other systems, maybe a community, etc., that you're going to have to change. For example, in online coaching, you can't just give someone a meal plan and then that changes their entire life. Okay, no one has ever done a meal plan and that has changed their entire life. Okay, there's multiple mechanisms that come into play to bring someone from their current situation to their desired state. Okay, you need to deliver multiple mechanisms over time. This can be done for you mechanisms. This can be done with you mechanisms. These could be do-it-yourself mechanisms. Okay, in order to successfully deliver the solution, it is its own singular process per mechanism. Okay, so for example, if you have a specific client with a desire to reach a specific state that wants to go to that desired outcome, there are multiple mechanisms. These are just a few that I've kind of listed out that you can apply. I'm obviously going to get into that a little bit later. But in comparison to just giving a few assets with judgment, you are now not reaching barely half the way of the desired outcome. Okay? So within my organization, for example, just to give you an example, I have multiple mechanisms that I solve for. Appointment setting, okay? Also, hiring funnels, okay? Many people suck at sales. So am I placing appointment setters? Is there actually an appointment setting process? Closing. A lot of people suck at closing. Am I hiring people to close for these people? Okay? Is there back-end operations and fulfillment? Okay? What about onboarding? Okay, what about fulfillment and delivery? What about retaining clients? Okay? What about paid ads and sales systems? Okay? How are we going to get clients? Are we just going to get clients through organic, or are we going to actually run a paid ads and run a sales system? Awesome. Is there an opt-in for that sales system? Okay. How are those leads getting educated? How are those leads getting nurtured? We definitely don't want to be talking to people who aren't educated. Okay. How do we actually select for an offer? How do we select for a market? Okay. Here's one of my documents that I give my clients, 30-page document talking about several different things within selecting markets, selecting offers, all this sort of stuff. And this is an asset that people can use that I don't have to change. Okay? How do we select? How do we test? Okay? So what I've done within my organization that I applied when I was actually a fitness coach as well is building hard assets. Okay? And then applying level of judgment over that. But the judgment is smaller. The assets kind of act as the judgment. Okay? So I hope this kind of all makes sense right now, and why you need to shift to hard asset-based coaching. Okay? Because what I've realized is the top 10% of people, like after working with over 100 online and in-person fitness companies, I've realized that the biggest differentiator is, yes, that long-term you can create a quality system and actually get results for clients with a high LTV. But most people who are in the fitness coaching space are only here because they like fitness and they aren't here to build an actual business. Okay, they're just posting, oh, I kind of like fitness, maybe I'll get a client or two. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the only way your earning potential will increase is if you become leveraged, more specialized, and acquire a high level of depth. Okay, and depth is not a quick process. It's a very difficult process to go through. Okay, a lot of people listening to this realize that this all makes sense, and maybe you're implementing several of these insights that I'm sharing with you now. Oh, I already have asset-based stuff. I'm already doing systems. Yes, but you're still broke. Okay, you're still not making, let's say, $20K per month. Let me explain why you are broke. Okay, so the next point that I'm about to share with you is what separates the top 0.001 from the bottom 99%. Okay, I've spent the last few years trying to define and understand how people living on the same planet, breathing the same air, and accessing the same information can have such a gap in the lives they live and what they end up accomplishing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove luck and environment. If we all have the same inputs, like in any system, we should technically be able to generate the same output. If we're all accessing the same knowledge and the same inputs, and we all have access to social media, and we all have access to the the same softwares that people making several $100,000 a month can access, shouldn't we all have the same output? Okay. Well, that's where I was wrong. And I learned recently that there is levels to knowledge. The deeper you go down the levels, the more leverage you acquire from the same inputs. Your inability to extract more from the things you know due to the lack of depth is keeping you stuck. Okay. So there's certain levels here that I'm going to go through. Okay. Because people, like I shared, so many people in fitness are just here to like, oh, I just like fitness. I like coaching. I'm just going to be a coach because I enjoy it. But they're still broke and they're still accessing the same information. If you've watched some of my other videos and you're still not making a lot of money, here's why. Because there's levels to understanding things. Okay. You understand there's knowledge. There's hard knowledge that you're probably getting here. Are you comprehending that knowledge? Okay. Then level 3 is applying knowledge, analyzing, synthesizing, and judgment. This is going to make more sense now when I actually go through the levels with you. Okay. If you're watching this right now and you're like, oh, this doesn't matter. Oh, knowledge doesn't matter. Oh, comprehension. Oh, this stuff. Oh, I got to apply it. This is going to make so much more sense when I actually go through the levels, because you're going to be able to see how to actually take these unique insights and then actually make some sort of assets around it. Okay. So 90% of people, so level 1, which is knowledge right here, 90% of people spend their time here. And although they've dumped a bunch of info in their brain, they are still pretty dumb because they have no edge over the rest of society. They know what everyone knows. Success is only created from information advantages. Okay? So, information advantages. This information I'm sharing with you right now is not popular information. I don't have many subscribers on YouTube. I don't. Okay? Do I want 100,000 subscribers on YouTube? Sure, it would be cool. Okay? But it wouldn't make a massive difference in my life because of the quality of information I'm sharing. I personally like to watch channels with less than like 10,000 subscribers, channels with less than 50,000 subscribers, because I know the information is an advantaged information. Okay. So level 1 is knowledge. Once you get that knowledge, you have to comprehend that knowledge. Okay. Many people will simply watch videos online or read books, but if you cannot comprehend the data you're experiencing, you will not be able to apply it. Unfortunately, just knowing data won't get you more money in hand. I try my best to create very long form videos to show all of you guys that I have a level of comprehension, and I try to pass that comprehension on to you. But 90% of people will not see success because only 10% will understand and comprehend this data to a high level. Okay? So you actually have to get knowledge and then comprehend that knowledge. And level 3 is actually applying the knowledge. So one of the worst things you can experience, which many educated and smart people, I put that in quotations, experience, is being extremely knowledgeable but broke. Applied knowledge is where you start to see a level of success, but it is also where you start to incur a level of risk. When you apply learnings, you risk your time, money, peace of mind, ego, etc. Imagine if I never left school and never applied the learnings I got from taking courses. That would suck. Okay? This is the layer that it takes to achieve roughly 5 to 10K per month. It is pure application and action of that knowledge which you have learned. This is why so many college professors, they're so smart, they know so much about business, okay, but they don't apply any of it. You're not going to see any success. Level 4 now is analysis. This level is only achieved and can only be achieved once you've applied enough knowledge for you to then analyze the data and come to a conclusion. Okay? This goes beyond mere statistics or specific components of a system. It is looking at an entire system objectively. Most people here can get to roughly 30 to 40K per month. So now you're taking the system, you're running the system, you're taking action, but now you're analyzing and getting feedback on that system. And then level 5 is synthesis. Synthesis is a high-level way of looking at all moving parts and constructing moving parts and building something greater than just the sum of the parts. This is where we're talking about combining several mechanisms to achieve a desired outcome. Okay? Within synthesis, 1 plus 1 does not equal 2, 1 plus 1 equals 11. Okay? This is how it is greater than the sum of all of the parts. Okay? This is how I came up with the 5-pillar system, which I've talked about in my 5-hour masterclass. Go watch that. I realized that people couldn't just apply one system of an offer or market and synthesize the concept of leverage within each specific component to create an actual system. Okay? You can't just give someone an offer and say, hey, go launch this offer. You can't just give someone a specific market and say, hey, go to this market. Okay? You need to create several systems, and this is where I synthesize my system to create my 5-pillar system. Okay? And then level 6 is judgment. So this is the highest level of cognitive thinking. This is where you see everything objectively and you no longer look at the forest for the trees. You rather look at all moving parts like you're Neo in the Matrix. Okay? You see the truth objectively. So this is at the point where Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Ray Dalio, John D. Rockefeller, all of these people, okay, have a really high level of judgment. And they have only been able to reach this level of judgment by going through each of the levels, okay, several times over and over and over and over again to get so much feedback and then synthesizing that feedback. Okay? This is the stage where you become Jeff Bezos and your level of judgment is so valuable. Jeff gets 8 hours of sleep per night, and he has stated before that he prioritizes it because he usually makes one decision per day that is a highly mission critical decision. Okay? He actually says, he states in his book, he's like, I prioritize my 8 hours of sleep so much because I make one decision every single day that like can either make or break the business. So it has to be super important that I have a clear mind. Okay? He makes one decision that can knock over all dominoes, and it is the biggest solution provider. So for example, instead of knocking over all the small dominoes, why don't you knock over one that can solve all of the problems? Okay? So the biggest bottleneck that solves all bottlenecks, when I discuss concepts such as building an asset-heavy offer and becoming commoditized, etc., okay, this was personally acquired by me going through the 6 levels of insight and being able to provide a level of judgment towards the marketplace. Okay? Because you can attempt to go and build an asset-heavy backend and become leveraged in your acquisition, but without any synthesis or level of judgment that you've applied, you will not be able to experience the same level of success. You have to go through the stages. So your job is to speed run through the 6 levels as fast as humanly possible and run your input to output process as fast as possible to get feedback, to analyze that feedback, to synthesize that feedback, to get judgment on that feedback. Okay? So how do we apply this in our fitness business? There's a very popular investor who's actually dealt with several $1 billion in startup expenditure. Okay? He stated that he can easily tell when there's a business that will massively succeed or fail based on 3 things. So he's had several people come to him over the past, several like decades, and he's understood what's kind of like what makes or breaks a business from the get-go, from starting out. Okay? And he came up with this mental model and a set of breakthroughs to achieve, a chance at becoming a great company. And what he said is, number 1, a breakthrough insight. So if you're doing the same thing and there's not a breakthrough unique insight that no other company believes to be true, that is a fact to be true, that is so important in becoming a great company. Number 2 is a value proposition. Number 3 is a growth strategy, so sales and marketing. Okay? So do you see how a unique insight, okay, having a unique insight and then a growth strategy on top of that is the most important because that lays the foundation. Okay? So the most important one of this idea that the most successful companies are built on are great insights, and something people don't understand is that you can't sit down and come up with an insight. Okay? Insights are only acquired from living in the future, noticing something that is missing and bringing that solution into the present. Understanding this one concept has changed everything for me as an entrepreneur. While most people are fighting over crumbs and building solutions for today's problems, I'm bringing solutions from the future into the present. Okay? So if you want to apply this model of having unique insights, building a great company, you need unique insights. Okay? You need these things to actually build this asset-heavy backend, to build this backend that is so valuable. And the only way you do this is by going through the 6 levels and applying it to your business. Okay? So I actually talk about this in my new YouTube video, which I bring forth a new critical insight about the fitness industry on how you can capitalize on it to win. Okay? I project into the future. I'm living in the future and bringing things into the present. In this video that I just made, I know the title and thumbnail are kind of funny, but this is a very critical insight. For example, I was talking about how more people are getting fat, and I was talking about pharmaceutical drugs and how pharmaceutical brands are crushing fitness influencers and other fitness providers. Okay? So how I pretty much apply this to the fitness industry to make $50K per month. So stage 1, I started going to the gym and working out. I was skinny and unhappy, and So pretty much what I'm going to share with you here, just to give you some context, is the insights I've gotten from going through these 6 levels. Okay, because a lot of people are just going to, like, you can watch this and just launch a backend system with asset heavy stuff and be like, oh, assets, here are some assets, but if you haven't actually gone through and created and gotten unique insights, then you're going to be kind of crushed. Okay, so when I started going to the gym and working out, I was skinny and unhappy. It resulted in me getting several insights on how to gain muscle, lose weight, fitness stuff, diet, all that stuff. I did do 2 bodybuilding shows and competed. Okay, stage 2, I applied these insights and tried to start a coaching business. Started posting on TikTok, scaled TikTok to several million views, switched offer and began focusing on sales and sales and marketing. Okay, insight, realized that audience does not directly correlate with cash. I realized that likes are not cash. I thought, oh, I'm just going to keep getting views. I'm going to keep getting likes. Likes are not cash. I wasted several hundred hours trying to build an audience with no way to convert. Second insight, you can build an audience, but without an offer or conversion mechanism, then you will not see any success. There has to be a clear plan in order for you to convert attention to cash. Insight 3, when you are starting out with limited status or proof of concept, you have to learn to sell. This is the one thing that I did not do enough early on. I had no status. I had limited rapport, and I was just trying to get people to just close. I needed to learn how to sell. You'll have to outperform and outsell your lack of status and trust from the get-go. Once you have trust and you've built a larger organization, you can now rely on proof of concept and status. Okay? 4, 99% of people do not see any success in courses or programs. I saw this myself by offering fitness programs, so my client success, and also personally investing in courses with several others not seeing success. Okay, I have theories as to why that is, but I do think it is because of providing a level of specialty, having a high level of price. Okay, so price equals emotional investment, and also having a good asset-heavy back-end system. Okay, stage 3 for me is I started working with in-person fitness businesses like gyms and personal training studios, as I had some connections within that space. People reached out to me, hey, you understand marketing? Can you do it for my fitness business? Started doing that. They knew I understood marketing from my level of understanding with scaling my own business. Okay. Some of the insights I got. I realized that several gyms are highly commoditized and make 50K to 100K per month in top line in revenue, but are only profiting 5K per month or less. Okay. Number 2, I wasted too much time focusing on client results and stressing about how to do marketing for these in-person businesses when I literally knew nothing. I needed to go through the 6 levels. I realized that I needed to get more clients and have a level of trial and error before knowing what to do. Number 3, many clients will work with you even though you are not getting them a discernible ROI. As long as you have a clear vision and you are diligent in tracking everything and showing them that. Okay, I've had so many gym owners who haven't gotten a clear discernible ROI but stayed with me because there was a vision. Okay, I knew how to handle client relations. Okay, so another insight, churn is the worst thing. Marketing cannot be ran before a churn system has been put in place. There is no point, let me delete that. There is no point in selling or marketing with high churn. I made my anti-churn system with this. Okay. Number 5, the most leveraged way to get clients is through paid ads. If you have capital, if you don't even worry about it. I've turned 6 figures in ad spend into 7 figures with the right strategies. It beats most other forms of marketing and is a max leverage approach. Okay. So as you can see here, with each of these stages, stage 1, stage 2, I went through the 6 levels. Okay. I had a level of knowledge. I comprehended that knowledge. I applied, I analyzed, and then I synthesized. Okay. And what I'm trying to show you here is when I went with and worked with the gyms, I got these insights. Okay. And then when I started working with online gyms and online coaches, which I'm doing now, I got even more insights. Okay. Because I applied, I worked with people, and I'm still working with people and still collecting data. Okay. So I'll just share with you some of these insights that I've written down. The online coaching space is much harder to achieve success. Compared to in-person local market, you cannot just put up an ad and get people to come into your gym. You need high nurturing systems and practices to nurture people. This is how I came across my long-form sales asset process, my VSLs, school nurturing process, etc. Okay, number 2, scaling on organic following is a good strategy long-term, but will take several years to build. And by that time, the market can adjust and unselect for you. It is better to have fast cycles that can be tested quickly, i.e. paid ads. Okay. Next, knowing sales psychology is is highly important as a coach. When you are selling high ticket plans, you need to be a master of sales, or at least cool with hiring an amazing closer. Number four, selling high ticket packages is easier than selling low ticket packages. Okay. Number five, selling programs that are judgment based are pointless. So many other course creators and influencers selling judgment based courses. Hey, I'll be your coach. Pointless. Okay. Last, who you are selling to is much important than how or what you're selling. Okay. So I know this may sound like a lot right now, a lot of information, but what I'm trying to show you is with each of these stages, I went through the 6 levels. Okay. And what I've done is I've combined all of these 6 levels and I've been able to synthesize them all towards one process that I've made. Okay. So overall, these are just a few of the insights I've personally acquired, and there are several more data points that I've tracked and analyzed. Okay. So overall, just to kind of share with you why you need to shift to asset-based heavy is a few different things. Okay. So number one, channel over-reliance leads to customer acquisition concentration risk. So imagine being a founder who is making thousands, millions per month, team of 50 employees, penthouse, another in Cape Town, 5 supercars. Most of your money is coming from the attention from Meta or Google. One morning, a law or algorithm update forces you to your cost to acquire a customer to 3x. It makes you impossible to profit any money, therefore breaking your business model. What do? There's nothing you can do other than completely shifting your business or going bankrupt because your team, your homes, your 10 kids, and supercars aren't cheap. Okay? So when I talk about lifetime value, Ferrari, Rolex, Apple, 2/3 of cars sold last year were sold to existing companies for Ferrari. Okay? Do you ever see Rolex ads? Do you ever see Lamborghini ads? Do you ever look at an Apple ad and be like, oh my God, I'm just going to buy that because of the ad? I've never bought an Apple product because of an ad or because the last product wasn't working. Never done that. Okay? None of these businesses leverage typical marketing and sales tactics. They rely on one thing, that is their community and data they own about their users. Okay? If they stop marketing, they'd still make money from their community doing the marketing for them. Okay? So this is why I'm an advocate for School, because School is a data collection software. Sam Ovens with School did this with School and won. Okay? So after scaling consulting.com to $30 million a year, which is Sam Ovens' company before, he realized that the product wasn't the course, the product was the community. No one spent time in the portal learning. They spent 80% of their time in the group talking to each other, creating friendships. So he started School. Okay? So he realized the product was the user, not the individual content, because if he had other people in the communities who also had unique insights, then he would get more judgment from more people and go through the 6 levels quicker. Okay? Iman just did this with educate.io. Instead of selling a course, he's now selling hard assets that collect data and get judgment. Okay? So these are all assets. Do you see where I'm going with this? Okay? So anyone wanting to gain unparalleled leverage must realize that they need to collect data over customers. Okay? Create free communities, collecting data about customers and people, leveraging data to apply to helping more people more efficiently and effectively with the insights achieved. Okay? So this is a lot right now, and we went through quite a bit today, and I tried to go through this as quickly as possible because I actually have a call in 20 minutes. Okay? But what you need to do is you need to go through the 6 levels as quickly as possible before actually building any sort of hard asset-based things. Okay? So if you're watching this and if you're a fitness operator, you need to remember that marketing and sales become obsolete with a low LTV. Your goal is to create a one-of-one system and charge extremely high ticket for it, $5,000 plus, of which is asset-based and not purely judgment-based. And you have to make sure you apply this to a specific market with a specific transformation, with specialty. Okay? You can build the system now, but you need to go through the 6 levels in order to truly become leveraged and have unique insights to base your assets off within your market. Okay? Because Iman, for example, with Educate, okay, he understood this. He shifted from selling judgment, anyone can sell judgment, to assets. Okay? Educate could be $1 billion company in the next year to 2 years. Okay? School is on the verge of becoming $1 billion. Okay? How are they able to do this? They are getting so much insights from customers. Okay. They are collecting data. They are getting more unique insights. Like I said here, more unique insights from each client and getting the clients to do the judgment for them. And then they are synthesizing all of the judgment that they have gotten to refine the system. And that's what I've done. When I said I went through all of these processes, I've synthesized every single thing I've done to create this system that I have within my company. Okay? Because all of these insights have added up and I've synthesized them, but it's still not as leveraged as having, for example, a massive platform that just purely collects data. Like even Facebook is a data collection platform. Okay? So I've been able to apply this to a few fitness brands, have been able to scale a few people to $100,000 per month, etc. But all in all, if you're watching this, understand that marketing and sales are low leveraged. Okay? You have to create an asset-based, asset-heavy process and productize it. Okay? And you cannot do that by just building it. You need to go through the 6 levels to truly become leveraged, and you can get other people to go through the 6 levels for you and source their insights towards yourself. Okay? Remember that you can sell judgment, okay, but it is most of the value you're getting is from the user and not the actual judgment. Okay? So apply that to your business. If you're a fitness operator, if you're a fitness coach, remember that this is something that you have to go through. And if you're wanting to go through this on a quicker scale, if you're watching this, you made it to the end with me here today, awesome. Just give yourself a pat on the back, because a lot of people will, I want to watch a TikTok. Okay, cool. You don't have TikTok brain. Thank you for staying with me to the end. But what I want to say is, if you want to go through these data processes quicker and build an asset heavy back end, okay, I've been through this. I've ran this 6 levels hundreds of times before within the niche you're probably thinking of wanting to run. Okay. I have so much data about fitness coaches. I have massive backends, okay, that are asset heavy, that are data collection heavy. Okay. So if you're wanting to increase your LTV, if you're wanting to make more with fitness coaching, okay, it is possible, but you're going to have to shift. And if you want to shift, you can go down somewhere below. I'm going to paste a link. You can go down, you can watch my 5-hour masterclass, or you can just go down and schedule a call with me, and I will run you through how to create an asset heavy backend system to succeed in today's market. Okay. So thanks for watching. That's it.